What are the key stats that I'm looking for when I'm trying to pick out what are the best long-term dividend stocks to invest in? Well, let's take a look here. Dividend yield percentage is, of course, very attractive, and we always want to jump in on those. But if that has a payout ratio above 60%, starts getting a little iffy. Some stocks, like REITs and utilities, could be up to 80%, but anything over 60% is starting to get a little bit on the risky side. It may not be sustainable. Dividend growth rate, well, if they're growing that dividend at a high percentage or definitely growing it on a regular basis, you're going to have a much better payout in the future, right? So if it's telling you you only get 2% or 3% right now, but they consistently increase their dividend and they're growing their stock and their stock price is growing, and therefore the dividend is going to keep going to a higher payout level, you are going to get a higher percentage for what you bought the stock at, even if it stays at the same percentage going forward. If they're increasing that dividend payout to match the dividend growth or the stock price growth, wow, you are definitely going to do much better than that 2 to 3% that you started at. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, dividend history is an important thing to look at because they're consistently paying a dividend, and they've been doing it for like 10, 20, 30, 100 years, and some of them have been paying 100 years. Some of them have increased for like decades. Those are maybe ones you want to look into. Earnings per share, free cash flow, return on equity. These are things you kind of want to know about, and how do they signal whether or not this is a good dividend stock. You definitely want to know and understand these. Debt to equity, interest coverage ratio. Now, I don't really play with that one very much, but I do look at it occasionally. What is their credit rating? So you might want to know, do they have a good credit rating? Are they considered reliable? And with industry, so having a competitive advantage or a moat, what they kind of, basically nobody else can touch them, right? They're like a castle with a moat around it. Nobody can get through. They are kind of the only ones to compete with. The sector stability, well, consumer staples, healthcare, utilities, things like this with lots of cash flow and pretty stable cash flow are going to have more stable dividends. So look for industries that have this ability, and then companies within it that are strong and possibly able to grow, but definitely sustain their dividend because of the type of industry they're in. These are all factors when you're looking at what is the best dividend stock for me to invest in long term. You don't want to be stuck with a dividend that's not going to keep paying in the future. So check out the stats, know and understand what they are. It's a simple Google search. It's a simple AI search. You can look up a lot of these. Plus, any reading you can do on it, you're going to find out more and more information about what the experts are looking at, and then start to recognize and understand through your own analysis what is important for you with your portfolio. Don't forget, subscribe and like. Follow along my investment challenge where I'm doing a $0 to $1 million in less than 7 years with only $23 a month. It's hard to tell whether I'm going to make it yet, but if you subscribe and like, follow along, you'll be able to check that out. See you next video.